Math 230, Cuesta College. I'm Joe Vasta, and today we are going to cover 4.1 Egyptian numbers. So we have these problems here where we have hieroglyphics, and we want to write out what number that is. And then we have this number here, and we want to write it out in hieroglyphics. So that is what we're doing. Our puzzle for today is this: A4, B6, etc. Figure out what goes in the box. Okay, back to the hieroglyphics. The hieroglyphics actually represented a simple grouping system. As opposed to what we'll see next time, which would be a positional system. We use a positional system. This is a grouping system, and we'll talk about what that means. What I'm going to show you comes around 2850 BC, and here we go. Before we can do these problems, we have to talk about what these mean. This guy right here means 1, and that was probably obvious to a lot of people, and that was a finger. The heel bone represents 10, and I'll write what these things are right next to them. So this is the heel bone. The lotus flower, well, it's right there before I get to the lotus flower. The scroll represents 100. And then here's the lotus flower. That's 1,000. So let me write lotus flower. The bent finger is 10,000. And then this tadpole or fish is 100,000. So you see the pattern here: 1, 10, 100. This is a geometric sequence. So this is tadpole or fish. This person right here, this is the astonished person. This represents 1,000,000. So we'll say this is the astonished person. And then this guy right here is 10 million, which is the rising sun. Okay, so that's what we have here. The direction of writing was usually this way, where the ones were on the left and then the higher symbols were on the right. But it changed throughout the years. So this is what we're going to do. They didn't do the, you know how we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we put the cross for 5. We go like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When we're tallying things, they didn't do that. Okay, so this, you just have to count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are 7 fingers. 7 ones. So that's the ones place. So then we look at our next symbol, and there are 5 of them. 5 heel bones, or 5 tens, which is 50. So I have 50 plus 7, which is 57. Now notice, when we go to the next symbol, those are the lotus flowers. We don't have any scrolls. There are no scrolls there. So when we're changing it to our numbers, we put a 0 there because there are no scrolls. Now they did not have a 0. We used the Hindu Arabic system, which has a 0. So now we have 2 lotus flowers. That's 2,000. Okay, and then we go to our next symbol, which is the 10 thousandths, and we have 3 bent fingers. And then 1 tadpole, which is 100,000. So we have 132,057. The homework in 4.1 is pretty straightforward. Do be careful when a symbol appears to be missing. Make sure you write a 0 there. That's the most common mistake that I see. If we were doing face-to-face class, I would not have you memorize these. I would give them to you. So, I mean, don't bother trying to memorize these. And this is what you're doing in your homework. You're turning the hieroglyphics into our numbers, and then we're given our numbers. We want to write the hieroglyphics for this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the 5. Okay, so there's 5 ones, 5 fingers. Then we have 90 or 95. That's 90, and there's 9 heel bones. So that's what we're doing. And you can kind of put them how you want. I'm going to put them in this little square. Okay, so that takes care of the 9. And we move over to the hundreds place, and I have 2 hundreds, 2 2 scrolls. 1, 2. Okay, so check, that's done. We move over to the thousands place. We have 1 lotus flower. Now in your book they may be slightly different. You know, the flower might be facing one of the sides. It was the best I can do for the font when I was when we were coming up with the book. So they're pretty much the same. So you may notice some slight differences. Okay, so there's the lotus flower. And then we move over to the 8. We have 8 bent fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And now you're thinking, well, you put some below. Why did you put 3 below? Because I wanted to. I can do that since this is a simple grouping system. You're just grouping the similar symbols together. And if you did get sloppy with this, which you shouldn't on the test, but if the Egyptians got sloppy, you would still know what this number was. I mean, if the flower somehow appeared over here instead of here, which would be bad, you could still figure out the exact number. And that's what makes this a grouping system as opposed to what we use, which is a positional system. You know, that 9 there is a big deal. You can't just say, ah, let's put the 9 over in front, because that will change the value of the number. So that's 8 bent fingers, 0 tadpoles, so we're not going to put any of those. 3 in the millions place, so 3 astonished people. Let me get another pen here. They have their hands up. And I think that thing behind them, I mean, I think they're kneeling. That's what's happening. I do have to fit my number. I think I have room, so I'll put another astonished person right here. Whoa, their arms are longer. Okay, so 3 of those. Oops, 3 of those, sorry. And then 2 10 millions. So we have this right here. 1, 2. Okay, and there's our answer. So this is what you'll be doing in 4.1. We do notice that the Egyptians back in 2800 BC, they went pretty high with the numbers, and that's just what happened. I mean, they counted things, took census, etc. So they did have a need for the rising sun. That concludes 4.1. We're going to talk about the puzzle now. We're also going to talk about, 1 million's a lot. Let's talk about 1 million, and then we'll figure out the puzzle. So this number right here, this is 1 million. Okay, so you're going to do an experiment where every second you draw a tally mark. You want to draw 1 million tally marks. 1 tally mark per second. How long will it take? Well, it will take 1 million seconds. But what is 1 million seconds? Well, if you did the calculation, you did unit conversion, you'll see that 1 million seconds is a little more than 11.5 days. So I'll say that. A little more than 11.5 days. Okay, we'll change the color now. So what I'm going to do to this 1 million is I'm going to add 3 more zeros to it. And this is going to give me 1 billion. And so I want to make 1 billion tally marks. Oh, by the way, on these experiments, I'm not going to sleep. I'm eating as I'm making the tally marks and going to the bathroom. Well, that's going to be problematic. Maybe I just have like a big diaper on or something. Okay, so how long would it take to make 1 billion tally marks? Well, 1 billion seconds would be the answer. $1 billion seconds, how long is that? Well, lots of times people guess, well, that's going to be like, maybe 23 days or whatever. It's actually going to be over 31 years. So there's probably a lot of you watching this video who have not even reached 1 billion seconds in your life. And when you do, are you going to have a birth second celebration? I don't know. It will be really quick if you do. So 1 billion seconds is over 31 years. Okay, now let's talk about this puzzle here. Just thought I'd do this. This is some number sense, and also when our government is throwing money toward problems and they're like, $33 billion. That's a lot of money. And if you're handing over $1 per second, it takes a long time to pay back. A4, B6, C2, D9, E8, L7, M5, R3, what goes there? So some of you might be a little mad when you see how to do this puzzle. But what you do is you start off with the C2. C2. And then you find the one with 3. So R3. And then the one with 4. A4. M5. B6. L7. E8. And D9. Now, one number that seemed to be missing was the number 1. And look at this. When you put them in order, it says crambled. So you can only guess if there was a letter that goes before the 1, maybe that would make the word scrambled. S1. Okay, so you guys have a good day. I'll see you in the next video.